Hey guys, it's RDJ coming at you with another Gimp tutorial. Yeah, I had some of the guys, since I put out those new templates for the boots and the pants and the tights and all that good stuff, ask what the best way or how I go about coloring those in. It's really super easy, and I know some of the folks on there are using like the paint bucket to just like drop color into the slots and all that. You can do that, but man, you're working harder, not smarter. So let me show you a couple of tricks in Gimp that are going to make coloring those things in super easy, and you'll find yourself cranking out merchandise as quick as you want. Like I said, you guys are always more than welcome to use my templates, so feel free to do so. If you want a base color, just a standard color set, I guess you guys can go ahead and do them. I don't really care, but if you want a logo slapped on or everything, you're more than welcome to give me a holler if you're having a hard time with it. Okay, let's get started. So this video isn't an hour long. Okay, I need to open up one of those blanks. My whole thing is a mess at the moment. What should I make? Let's make boots, because there's not enough boots. We'll make ones with kick pads. Actually, there we go. So I just opened kickpad.png, which is one of my templates for the boots with the kick pads. So this is, when you open it, this is what you should get. It's transparent. That's there for a reason. If you kind of look, you probably can't see it in the stream, but it's already shaded for you, so you shouldn't have to shade it as long as you're cool with the cartoony type look, which is kind of the angle my templates are going for. So if that's not what you want, go download a picture of wrestling boots off Google Images or something. My templates don't do realistic. They're more for cartoony. Matches the shirts. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new layer. That's this button over here. And you'll see when you create a new layer, it tends to throw it on top. We want to click and drag that below kickpad, so anything we do on it is going to happen below the outlines. Just for kicks, let's go ahead and edit, fill it with white. So now you can see all that shading I was talking about, how it's pre-shaded. We can go ahead and leave that white for now. It tends to make things easier to color when you have a white background. It makes it so you can see errors, mistakes, or whatever. So let's see. We'll make another new layer. Because we were layer highlighted, it'll create it right above layer and below kickpad. But if it hadn't, you can always click and drag it down again. And I don't know, what color do we want to make these boots? Let's do like army style ones. That could be kind of cool. We'll make the base color brown. One way I do like the base color for my boots is I will go back up to kickpad. This is fine. Back up to kickpad and select it. Use the magic wand and select anything but the boots. You'll see it gets everything around the boots, but not the boots themselves. Then I'll go select, grow. 2 pixels is usually enough. Basically, what we want is the marquee to get into the black. And then we'll go back to our empty layer and we'll edit, fill. Oops, edit, undo. Select invert. There we go. Edit, fill. Bingo. So now we have our boots. What I just did there is, because I had this selected, not this, I had to go to select and invert my selection. Basically, that everything that wasn't selected becomes selected, and everything that was is no longer. So anyway, there we go. So we've got our base colors. Obviously, we don't want just like brown boots. That'd be boring. So what I usually do is, we'll go select none. Select none. I create a new layer for each section of the boot. That way, if you want to tweak the colors, it's a lot easier. So let's go and we'll do like kind of a cool army olive tone. Go ahead and zoom in. I'll show you guys. So if you're doing it where you're using a layer underneath, an empty layer underneath your outline, when you color, I'll make this sucker nice and big. When you color, it goes right behind the outline. So you don't need to worry about, I'm using too big a brush. You don't need to worry about like accidentally painting over the lines or what have you. You can just color it in. No big deal. I'm purposely kind of going over the black line so that the color is behind it, and that way you end up with less areas you have to go back and touch up, you know what I mean? So probably a good size that you should be doing this in is like 10 to 20. That'll give you a small enough brush that you can get into all the cracks and crannies and things. So yeah, if we just go through, we color it in. Like I've said in my posts, it's like coloring a coloring book. It's really pretty darn easy. And like I said, you do want to overlap the black line when you're going around the edge. so that you don't leave any of the background showing through. There's that. Okay, and there we go. We've got our background is done in the brown. Our the background of the pad is in the green, and then we can go. I don't know, what do we want to do for maybe a lighter brown for the kick pad? That's not bad. So, like I said, you just kind of color it in. And there you go. Really, that's as easy as it is for if you're just going to do solid colors. It's no big deal. I'll show you guys doing it in a pattern in a second. But as long as you're working on layers that are in between the background and your outline, it'll just go right behind those lines. Couldn't be easier. So there's that. Oops. Oh, shoot. Control Z. Like I said, as long as you're doing it in between those layers and not on the outline layer, it couldn't be easier. If you are a dummy and you're not paying attention and you accidentally have the outline layer selected, the outline layer, of course it's going to color over the lines like I just did. So you'll see it's as far as coloring boots, it goes really quick. It's not hard at all. Let's change this real quick, and then we will do one more trick that I'll show you guys, and then I'll show you how to export. And last thing we want to do is create another layer, and I'll make this behind, and we're going to take our darker brown and actually make it a little darker even. We're going to do the sole of the boot real quick. You don't really want it to be the same color as the boot. You can, but it's nice to kind of have it be a different color. There we go. Now we've got a complete colored boot. Right. Excellent. So, if you're just going for color, we're done. You can get rid of this white background. That way it's transparent. When you export it as a PNG, it'll look nice. Let's go ahead and show you how to do that. If you go File, Export, and it should be as a PNG automatically, but if it's not, you can just type PNG when you get to the end of the file name. Go into KickPads. I'll call this army.png. Bang, enter. There. Now we have a full-size one done. This is too big to upload to the shop. It will not upload it. The file size is too large. So you go Image, Scale Image. I made all my templates. The shirt isn't like this because I didn't make the shirt. But all the other templates are pre-sized. So if you get the width right, it'll automatically make the height right for the shop too. So the boots are 72 wide and 88 high, I think. See, automatically made it 88 high because I have this little chain linked. So as long as you have your chain hooked and not unhooked, and you put 72 in for boots, it'll shrink it to the right height as well. And scale, and we'll go File, Export, and I usually call mine whatever I made my full-size image -SM for small. Bam, export. Sweet, so our shop boots are done. That's all it takes. Let's just make sure. Sometimes you want to be careful when you don't have your layers flattened. Sometimes when you shrink it, it moves the colors around weird. I haven't had that problem recently, but it's happened before. So it's always worth looking because you don't want to upload an ugly image because once you put your item in the shop, you can't change the picture. Thanks, Lal. Okay, so now let's say we wanted to make this green a camo instead of green. Let's go open. Let's see, did I save that camo somewhere? Probably not. Maybe I did. Textures. Okay, I got gray camo. That'll work. So select all. Copy. Go ahead and shrink that down. I might use it later. Paste. It's going to go up at the top here as a floating selection. You need to make it its own layer. If you do not make it its own layer, it is just going to merge with whatever layer is below it. So we want to come down here to this new layer button, the same one we've been using to make all these layers over here. Bam, it's got its own layer. It's on top, so we want to move it down. And let's shrink it. You could have shrunk it before you pasted it in too. That also works. In fact, I do that more often than not because this thing is huge. Come on. Okay, we don't want to, so we'll scale. Let's move it up. We want it smaller than that even too. Yeah, I should have done it. I should have scaled the image before I imported it into this picture. That's okay though. So I am just using the scale tool. It's this guy right here underneath the inkwell pen and above the pencil. And that is just, oops, there we go. It's the one that shrinks. It only does scaling. So it's good for this kind of stuff. It is good for, oh man, you know what I did? That's why it's so damn big. Ah, I blew it, guys. Let's start over. Edit undo. Bam. There we go. Haha. That's why. I was working on the stinking shrunk version, and we don't want to do that. We want to work on the full-size version. Because it'll look a lot better. Okay, there we go. Scale. And we'll give it its own layer, like we were saying. Bring it down here. Move it up so it covers all the... Oh. It's fine. You usually don't want to blow things up, but this is just an example. There we go. You know what? We'll go ahead and... There. That'll work. That's fine. Okay. So now give it its own layer. Like I said, move it down here. And now we're going to be replacing the green with this color. So we select... Oh, so we go to the green layer. That's the one here, right? Layer 2. I name my layers if I'm working on a larger project. We'll go right-click on it. Go down to alpha to selection. What that's doing is it's selecting everything that's filled in that layer and making it into a selection. Now we're going to copy it out of the camo layer. Copy. Oop. I don't know what I just pushed. Copy. Paste. There we go. Now we can delete this guy. Move this down. Go ahead and make the green invisible. There you go. And obviously we don't want, we don't want that color of camo. So let's go up to colors, and we're going to go colorize. And let's change the hue to a nice green tone. Green. And we'll bring the saturation down. That gives it more of an olive drabby type look. And we'll even bring the lightness down too, because we want it to be, there we go. We don't want white. We want the lightest color to be kind of a dark green. Nope. Definitely want to keep it green. There you go. That looks good. Okay. So, there we go. That's how you would bring in a pattern. Basically, you're bringing in the pattern as a whole layer, like that, right? So it covers everything you want it to cover. And then you are taking the layer you want to fill it with and right-clicking and saying alpha to selection. Then going back to your texture layer, copying that selection, pasting it as a new layer, and then, new, so it becomes a new layer and doesn't just merge with some other layer. And then you're left with this. And then, you have to go ahead and adjust the colors as you want, but you get the idea. So there we go. We'll go ahead and let's deselect. We'll go File, Export. We'll call it Army2.png. And same deal. We'll scale image 72. Call it File, Export, Army2 small.png. Bang. We're done. That's it. If you wanted to say, let's see, one more thing. Let's say we want to add a logo to the front of this sucker, right? Let's go File, Open. Do I have anything I can add? Desktop, logos, something. Well, there we go. We'll use my logo. Okay, select all. I don't want that. File, Open. There we go. That's the one I wanted with the transparent background. So we go File, Select. Okay. Select all and copy. We'll bring it over here. Like the same deal, give it its own layer. And that one can go there because we're looking at it dead on. So it's okay to see it dead on. But now we want it on the other boot too. So the boots are the same. So we'll duplicate that layer, right? So we have two of them now. Click and drag it over here. Well, that's not going to work, right? Let's Let's move our outlines to the top again so they're underneath the outlines. That's not going to work. We've got to figure out how to trim that. Plus, if you're looking at this logo from the side, that's not really what it's going to look like either. So what we want to do is scale. Oops, not that layer. Not you. Cancel. We want to scale this layer. And we're going to make it, we're not going to make it a bit taller or shorter. We're going to make it thinner. Which is also not really how it would look if you were looking at it from the side, but it's a lot closer. So we scale, and then you can click and drag this guy so it's kind of half and half. And maybe rotate it a little bit just so it kind of matches up with this, with the boot a little more. There we go. There we are. And you remember how we made that alpha to selection? We're going to do that here too. We want to get rid of anything that's sticking out over the edge. So if we go to our base color, which covers everything, and right-click alpha to selection, you'll see it selects basically our whole boot, a little bit inside of the black line. We want to select invert, so now everything that's not in the boot is selected, and go up to our logo that's sticking out and hit delete. Bam. Select none. There you go. Now you've got a boot with a logo on it. Easy as pie. You can export that, any logo you want. Same deal. If you're doing a side view, just for the look, shrink it horizontally a little bit to make it look a little better, more realistic, if you will. Okay. Well, anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and upload these two boots, the Army and Army 2, up to the store, and hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, PM me on the site. Post on the forum, whatever you want to do. And I'd be happy to help. Okay, thanks guys.